Hey, what's up guys? It's Marv and welcome to one of the first videos that I'm going to make on my brand new SSC TUATARA. Now before I get into it, I just want to go over the YouTube stuff. Be sure to like the video, of course. It helps tell the YouTube algorithm that you actually like what you're watching. And if you would like to hear all of the new information and news regarding Asphalt 9, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get that extra notification, you can click the bell icon right next to the subscribe button as well. I know it's kind of annoying to hear that over and over again, but I do appreciate it when you guys click those buttons. So yeah, alright, so let's talk about my experience with the SSC TUATARA. Firstly, I want to go over a couple of things. Number one is my rank. Now, I don't have it at max, unfortunately. It's at about rank 4,600, 5 out of 6 stars. Secondly, all of the races you'll see in this video are going to be in the Ghost Slipstream season. So if you want to see a video about how the TUATARA performs in classic multiplayer, let me know with a comment and I'll be sure to cover that in a separate video. I also want to let you guys know how I actually got this car, because obviously it's one of the best cars in the game. How in the world did I get it? So I actually got this car through key packs. Mostly, I got the actual key through the previous Black Friday special event where the TUATARA came back and a bunch of other cars did as well, and I just bought a bunch of the key packs. However, previously I already spent around 15,000 tokens on the car, so I had it at 3 stars by buying a bunch of key packs when it originally came out. I got really unlucky, but second time's a charm, I guess, and there we go, I got the key. So all in all, I spent around 30,000 tokens to get the car at around 5 stars. So keep that in mind. Your mileage obviously will vary depending on your luck, but that's what I have. And I also want to mention, I do have a couple of epics that I haven't applied yet. So let me know your suggestions for where I should apply my epic import parts as well. So the biggest advantage with the TUATARA is obviously its top speed. It is one of only, I believe, 4 cars in the game that can go above 300 miles an hour. So that's obviously a huge advantage, especially in Ghost Slipstream. What that means is in tracks like Himalayas, you're going to outpace pretty much every other car in the game besides those other cars like the Jesko, Venom F5, and the Bolide. So the top speed is nothing but a positive. And let's just move on, because next I want to talk about acceleration, and this is a bit more of an interesting debate because it is slightly better than the majority of other S-Class cars that usually fall within the mid to upper 70s. This, at least at my 5-star rank, has an acceleration around 80, which is not that bad. Now, it's not matching the Rimac Nevera, the Pininfarina, or other cars like that, but especially considering its top speed, the acceleration is above average, but it's nothing super remarkable, but it's good enough, especially in Ghost Slipstream. Next, I want to talk about Nitro, and that's a similar situation to the handling. It's good enough. For classic multiplayer, it can be a struggle on twistier tracks where you don't have a lot of time to regain a lot of nitro and you're constantly trying to get up to that top speed, but that's an obvious downside to most of these high S-Class cars. You're just not going to have a lot of nitro, so preserving your momentum and maintaining your nitro bar full is going to be a very important part about driving the TUATARA. So again, for classic, it's going to be a bit of an issue, but again, we'll talk about that in another video. And again, other S-Class cars do have slightly lower nitro efficiencies, so while this isn't the worst in the game, it's probably mediocre for its class, but again, it's not anything great, nothing compared to the McLaren Senna or other cars like that that are more focused on handling and nitro efficiency. However, speaking of handling, that's where we get to the big problem with the SSC TUATARA. That's the car's biggest weakness. You'll see throughout this video, I hit a ton of walls and my cornering is significantly slower compared to other S-Class cars in the video. So what's up with this? Well, funny enough, the handling stat for this car is slightly above the Jesko. However, it nowhere near matches the sharpness and responsiveness that the Jesko has in handling. And that is really disappointing for me, especially because when you look at pretty much every other high top speed focused S-Class car, And even if we go to cars like the Chiron, those all have really sharp handling, and this just doesn't. Now, it is better than a majority of the cars in Asphalt 9 in general. Obviously, you're going to corner faster than a lot of A-class cars, a lot of C-class cars, some of the B-class cars, and a lot of the lower-end S-class cars. However, the biggest issue is compared to the Jesko, the Venom F5, the Bolide, and again, even the Chiron, the cornering is not that great. Now, it's not bad enough to where you're guaranteed to lose races. All I'm saying is that compared to the other kings of S-Class, this falls short in the handling department, and you just have to keep that in mind while you're racing with the TUATARA. The best way to get around the weak handling is by performing lots of floaty drifts, punch drifts, and getting really good racing lines. Something, if I'm being honest, that I'm not really good at. You'll see throughout this video I miss a lot of opportunities to do floaty drifts, and of course you can see my racing line is just not very clean simply because we're going so fast, especially in Ghost Slipstream. So frankly, to get good at this car, you are going to need a lot of practice. I've certainly improved over time just by learning proper racing lines will help you a lot in terms of getting the TUATARA up to its top speed without hitting walls and stuff like that. But you definitely want to take advantage of floaty drifts wherever you can, because something I've noticed is you can maintain around above 240 miles an hour if you execute a pretty good floaty drift, and I'm pretty bad at floaty drifts, so just saying that I can do it pretty well means that not all hope is lost for the TUATARA. So what I'm trying to say is it's a really, really good car. Obviously one of the best in Asphalt 9. However, it's definitely harder to drive compared to the Jesko Venom F5, maybe not necessarily the Bolide, because the Bolide has terrible nitro efficiency, but beyond those cars, this handling situation is the TUATARA's downfall, unfortunately. Now, it's not so bad to say that I would not recommend getting this car. In fact, I do. I mean, obviously I spent 30,000 tokens to get the car. However, that's primarily because I have a long relationship with this car. It's been in the Asphalt franchise all the way back since Asphalt 7, and I love the design of this car. It truly looks like a spaceship on wheels, and I adore the way that this car looks. And at the time this car first released, it was the only other car besides the Koenigsegg Jesko that could go over 300 miles an hour. The problem is now we have the other cars like the Venom F5, the Bolide, and the Jesko is now available to purchase blueprints from the Clash store. And that's where the big dilemma comes in. Do you want to spend a bunch of tokens on this car when it comes back? Or would you rather spend your Clash currency on the Jesko and then save up a bunch of tokens for the Venom F5 or the Bolide? That, I believe, is going to be up to you. I think that's mostly personal preference. However, I will say, objectively speaking, those other cars are going to be easier to drive. So if you're very confident in your ability to take corners sharply, execute floaty drifts, and get a good racing lines, the TUATARA is not going to be a very big issue for you. However, if you're new to the game and this is going to be your first high-end S-Class car, I'd recommend saving for those other options just because of the handling. Overall, I'm really happy that I decided to spend 30,000 tokens on the TUATARA. Now I can confidently say the TUATARA is the best car I have in Asphalt 9, and I'm pretty happy to say that after almost 5 years, or actually over 5 years of playing this game. But there are definitely other options out there, so I wouldn't recommend saving your tokens only for this car. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about the SSC TUATARA in the comment section down below. Would you spend your tokens on this car or other cars like the Venom F5 and the Jesko? I really want to hear your thoughts in the comments section, like I said. And of course, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys later.